Hello, Willow Oaks third graders. Today we're going to enjoy working with kilogram and gram units of measure to make chocolate chip cookie dough. All right, so we have our ingredients ready. These are our dry ingredients and these are our liquid ingredients. Butter needs to be at room temperature. All right. So let's review a few things before we actually begin. So earlier we learned about grams and kilograms. Can you recall what you equated a gram to? It was something familiar. It's called association, working with something that's already familiar to help you remember to learn a new thing. Okay, so this is gram and this is the symbol for gram. Back to the question. Do you remember what item we used that we said equals 1 gram? Thinking. So, if you said that $1 bill equals 1 gram, you are correct. Just think, the weight of $1, it's very familiar, you see them often, weighs 1 gram. So remember that. Next time you see a dollar bill, think, oh, that's what a gram weighs, the weight of this dollar bill. All right, continuing. Then we also worked with kilograms, and we also associated something with the kilogram. Do you remember what that was? Okay, a kilogram, and this is a symbol for kilogram. What was the item that's familiar to you that you can equate in weight to the weight of a kilogram? Thinking. So if you remember and you said your Chromebook or laptop, you are so correct. Your Chromebook, a laptop, weighs a kilogram. You know, that's a vast difference, a dollar bill and a Chromebook in weight. Isn't that a vast difference? So now I'm thinking, a gram and a kilogram. How many grams equals a kilogram? So we also had an anchor chart in class to help us remember that a dollar bill weighs 1 gram. A Chromebook weighs 1 kilogram. So how many dollar bills equals a kilogram? If you recall, we agreed, or rather, the fact is that a kilogram is 1,000 grams. So $1,000 bills, the weight, equals a kilogram. Okay? All right, so we'll continue on. Now, let's talk about measurement. We're going to do some estimation. So what is estimation? Is it a wild guess? Just something you throw off from the top of your head? No, we use knowledge we already have, and I always say that estimation is an intelligent guess. You use your intelligence to make a good estimation. So that's what we're going to be doing with some of the ingredients that we will need to make our chocolate chip cookie dough. So I'm going to start out with some of the liquids. Now, I'm sorry, but the scale changes. If I wanted to lift to show you the amount that the weight is, this changes down here, and so I can't show it to you. But trust me, I've weighed everything, and I'm confident about the weight of these items. So we're going to start out with our vanilla. Okay, this is vanilla. Please keep in mind, dollar bill gram, Chromebook kilogram. So looking at this, and if we placed it on the scale, what do you think that weighs? What would you estimate? Thinking. If you said anything between 3 and 5, anything from 3 to 5, you would be correct, because this weighs 4 grams. 4 grams. All right. What about salt? Here's our salt. And I've placed it on this little piece of plastic. So that, okay, there we go. And what would be your estimation looking at this? All right. If you estimated that, again, this weighed anything between 3, 4, and 5, you're correct. It actually weighs the exact amount as the vanilla. So I'm not going to weigh the baking soda now because the baking soda was also 4 grams. That's what it calls for in the recipe. Now, here's another liquid item. We were asked to use 2 eggs for the recipe, but I was curious. I wanted to know what the egg actually weighed. So I broke the shell. I placed the egg in here, set it on the scale, and I learned something. I also reduced it by 1 gram for the plastics. That's not fair. This is not part of the egg. So you need to also think like that. So go ahead and make your estimation quickly. What do you think that would weigh? If you estimated anything between 48 and 58, it's a long range, you're close. This actually weighs 56 grams. This egg weighs 56 grams. We need 2 of these for the recipe. So, what would you need to do? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to come to the dry ingredient of sugar. The recipe asks for both brown sugar and white sugar. Now let's look at these. Just looking at both of them, which one do you think might weigh more? All right. Do you know they actually weigh the same? The recipe calls for the same amount of both sugars. So go ahead, make an estimation of what you think in grams the brown sugar and white sugar weigh. All right. If you said anything between 93 and 99, you're correct. The brown sugar weighs 96 grams. So that'd be 96 dollar bills. Okay, and they each weigh the same. All right, now let's go on to the flour. Okay, this has one of the larger masses. So here's the flour. Okay, so what do you think this might weigh in grams? Okay. Make your estimation. With the flour, I'll tell you that it's in the hundreds. Okay. All right. So if you estimate anywhere between 275, 295, I'm really stretching it for you, you're in a close range. The actual weight of the flour is 288 grams. All right. Now let's move on to the actual chips. They just asked us to toss the bag in, but I decided I think I'm going to weigh this. The weight's actually on the bag. All right. So, before I go on, what do you think would weigh more? The chips or the flour? What weighs more? What do you think? Okay. What do you think? All right. Let's find out. So, if you estimated anything between 310 to 350, you're somewhere in the right range. The actual weight for the chips is 340 grams. All right, now let's consider that you don't have that many ingredients, but you know you could make some chocolate chip cookie dough. So you would need to reduce it. If you wanted to reduce this, what would you do with the recipe? Would you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Are we increasing it or are we decreasing it? All right. And the best way would be to divide. If you want to reduce it, you would divide. All right. So what happens if you're asked to go to a party and everyone's going to take a dish and you've been given the responsibility to take the dessert, and you know everyone likes chocolate chip cookies. So you go, the recipe that's on the bag is not enough. I need to increase this. What are you going to do? Are you going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? What would you do if you wanted to increase the recipe? You would multiply. All right, children. So moving on. You've been such good listeners. So we're going to go ahead, get going with the cookies. So I started this earlier. We have cookie dough, and we have some cookies ready to be popped into the oven. Just a few more in here, and we're ready to go. Okay, so this is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that looks like something we've done in math. All right, children, so you enjoy working with the recipe and making your chocolate chip cookie dough and popping them into the oven. This is where the lesson ends for today. Bye.